YouTube, what's up? Happy 4th of July. You're probably like, damn, Alex, why are you making a YouTube video this early in the morning? Because I'm a YouTube content creator. I got some job interviews to go to this week and next week. And the more good videos I get, the more I get them out of the way quickly as possible. Now we have a new video that I'm going to probably upload a little later. And this is something that most punk ass pickup artists and dating coaches don't ever talk about in their 2 hour, 3 hour, 4 hour seminars. We're going to talk about today sex game, the real L word versus the fake L word. I'm going to repeat. We're going to call this sex game, the real L word versus the fake L word. Yeah, we're going to talk about lesbians. I've been wanting to make this video for a very long time. Now, let's talk about what is the definition of being a lesbian. A lot of men get confused between a dyke, a girl who cuts her hair short and bald head, because I already made the video, and a girl who actually is a lesbian. Now, they're both in the same category, but here's where the differences are obvious. A girl who cuts her hair short and is bald head is trying out new hairstyles and has somewhat of an identity crisis, and still can physically, sexually attract men. Doesn't matter if it's black men, white men, Latino man, Asian man, Indian man. Doesn't matter if the man's high class, middle class, low class. They can still physically, sexually attract men. I'm talking about women who cut their hair short and be bald headed. That's why I made the video that a lot of women who cut their hair short that are black and white or bald with ass and titties, they can still get a man. Women who are lesbians are women, they would be the equivalent to a male incel. If you guys know what that term is on YouTube, you hear it a lot. That means a man, no matter what that man does, he just cannot physically, sexually attract women at all. Like, something's wrong with this guy. Like, no matter what this guy tries, he can't really get a woman and save his life. The woman could be fat and out of shape, 200 pound, 300 pound, 400 pound black woman or white woman or Mexican woman, and he still can't get a woman. A woman could be 50 years old, grandma, and he still can't get no woman. That's a incel. Well, a lesbian is pretty much very similar to an incel. It is a woman who cannot physically, sexually attract no men. Can't get black men, white man, Latino man, Asian man, or Indian man. Can't get a man that's high class, middle class, or low class. Can't get no man, period. The man could be bald headed. The man could be 50 or 60, and they still can't physically, sexually attract a man. So they don't say female incels. They don't say female feminists, because feminists can get laid. Just because she be starting that hear me roar, I'm woman bullshit, I'm independent strong bullshit. A feminist can get laid faster and quicker than lesbians. Now that I explained to you the definition of what a lesbian, let's go into what happens when women become lesbians. Back when I was a kid in the early 1990s and early 2000s, lesbianism, that's also a nickname that they give it, these women were women who once upon a time was heterosexual women, and they were in a number of relationships with a number of guys. They dated all types of men, and one day they got raped or sexually assaulted at a young age, by a family member or by their boyfriend, and it caused a mental delay in the brain, and women stopped maturing. They suffered some physical damage and some mental damage. And as time went on, these women not only had an identity disorder, they had a sex disorder. They could not trust men, and they ended up trusting women more than men. See, we always talk about what happens if if a woman cheat on a man with another man, what we never talk about is what happens if the woman go out and cheat on her husband with another woman, because it has happened to some black men, it has happened to some white men, and it has happened to some Latino men. But a lot of those guys have so much heart and pride, they don't want to talk about the embarrassment and the humiliation that a woman cheated on me with another woman. But it does actually happen. They just, they don't put it on the news, they don't put it on social media, but it actually does happen to some men. And these be guys that are physically, sexually attractive, that have money, looks, and status, that are rich and famous, that have their shit together, and when they get cheated on, it ain't always, I'm going to cheat on my husband or boyfriend with another man. Some of these women will go as far as to cheat on their husband or boyfriend with another woman, because it does actually happen. Now, some people might say in some cities and some states, yes, like Atlanta City. That would be one of the nation capitals if you're gay or lesbian. That's where it would most likely happen, is Atlanta City. Another one would be San Francisco, California. That's just two. There are more than just two, but I'm starting off with those two. That's usually where a guy go, I'm rich, I'm famous, I'm a multi-millionaire, I'm a billionaire, and I got cheated on with another woman? What the hell? That's when you see the guy go to the bar and he drinks alcohol and he drinks himself to death because he can't believe, he knew he was going to get cheated on by his wife or girlfriend at some point in a relationship, whether it's 5 years later, 10 or 15 or even 20 years later. But when he finds out it's with another woman, it's like, how do you compete with that? So a lot of these women were raped, sexual assaulted by either a family member or by their boyfriend or husband. And it caused some physical damage and some mental damage. They had to take medication. They had to go see a doctor. They had to go see a therapist. They had to go to counseling for a number of years. And they couldn't trust men. So they trusted women more than men. So those women we don't pick on. Those women we don't make fun of. Those women we understand and we respect their condition. But, however, somewhere around 2007, 2008, all the way up until 2019, what we now have is a case of fake lesbians. Now, what is a fake lesbian? A fake lesbian is a woman who tries to use it as a label for attention. When she goes to work 5 days a week or 6 days a week, 5 or 6 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, she don't get no attention. And it ain't that she can't get no man. Problem is she's judging a book by its cover. You know how many times you hear YouTubers argue with pickup artists and dating coaches and they say looks don't matter, and then we say looks does matter? This is where it becomes more apparent 100% that it's about, are you physically, sexually attractive to a woman or not? And lesbians are proof of evidence. I'm talking about the fake lesbians, not the real lesbians, the fake lesbians who use it as a cop-out. They see that it gives them a lot of power and control, so they can dictate at any time when they want to be a lesbian and when they want to be a regular heterosexual woman. They can determine who gets to ask them out to lunch and dinner and who does not get to ask them out to lunch and dinner. They can determine if they want you to take them out for a cup of coffee or if they do not. And you'll know that the woman is doing that. Now, anytime you walk up and say, hey baby, or yo what's up girl, she'll go, oh, I'm lesbian. That's a fake lesbian. You said it too fast and it's not real and it doesn't sound convincing. Because when you usually ask the fake lesbian, okay, there's a story behind why you don't find men physically, sexually attractive and why you're into women. And if they can't tell you in the first 10 to 15 minutes what made them become a lesbian, she's not a real lesbian. See, a real lesbian will say, I was sexually assaulted, I was raped, I was molested at a young age. It happened in the household, or it happened at church, or I went to a house party and I got raped too many times. It happened to me in high school, or it happened to me in college. That's what a real lesbian woman will tell you. She'll tell you, "Oh, this I've been doing this for 5 years, or I've been doing this for 15 years." She'll tell you that's a real lesbian. I had to go to counseling, so I don't trust men. That's a real lesbian. A fake lesbian would just say, I don't like men. I'm lesbian." That's not an answer. That's not a 100% logical answer. That's a bullshit, false, fake, artificial answer. Artificial because what she's trying to do is only go after 20% of the men. You remember when they say 80% of the women are chasing 20% of the women? Well, only 40% of those women are actually lesbian. 60% of them are not, but 40% of those women, if not 40%, then 20 out of that 80% of women are lesbian. Think about that. If you're lesbian, why are you chasing professional basketball players, football players, baseball players, um, basketball, football, baseball, soccer, tennis? Why are you going after professional wrestlers like John Cena and Dwayne the Rock Johnson if you're lesbian? Oh yeah, when you go to those nightclubs, those bars, yes, some 20 or 30, if not 40% of the women in those nightclubs or bars are either real lesbian or fake lesbian. And then there's something in the middle called bi-curious, where a woman wants to experiment and have sex with men and women. So I already made a video about bisexual, but I guess we can throw that in here too. Even if you encounter a woman as a bisexual, again, there is a story to how the girl decided, I like both sexes. If she say it happened when I was in high school or I was in college and I was into experimenting, or I went to a um, tattoo parlor where I get my tattoos and piercings, and I just found this woman attractive, but I had a boyfriend and my boyfriend was okay with it. Okay, that's bi-curious. Bisexual is pretty much the same thing. I mean, bi-curious means she ain't really trying to be with women, but she heard it, so she wants to try out the experience. So she might try it 2 or 3 times, and then after that, she back to dating men. So that's bi-curious. Bisexual means to have sex with both sexes. And I already told you some stories that when I was in junior high and high school, I met at least 5 women that were bisexual, and all of them wanted to have sex with me. But it was junior high, and I got sent to the principal's office, and I got suspended for that, and then it happened in high school. Yeah, so, but the point is, there's that. And when they go to these nightclubs, they're chasing professional basketball players, football players, baseball players, tennis players, soccer players, professional wrestlers. If they're not into athletes, then they're going to chase men in entertainment. You know, the R&B singer, the rapper, the rock star. You know, they're going to try to go after someone like Lil Wayne or Drake. If they're not into entertainers, they're into actors in television and film. Someone like Chris Hemsworth or Leans Hemsworth for the Hunger Games, or Chris Pratt, who did the 2 movies to Jurassic World and the 2 movies to Guardians of Galaxy with conjunction of the Avenger films. Yeah, you go to Walt Disney when they do those, if you go to D23, half, if not all, the women there are either lesbian, fake lesbian, bi-curious, or bisexual. Same thing if you go to Comic-Con. Yeah, so you have to ask yourself, if you are a real 100% lesbian, why are you trying to chase celebrity men that heterosexual women find physically, sexually attractive? Then they'll try to justify it by saying, well, I'm a fan of Marvel Comics. I'm a fan of DC Comics. That's not what most men are angry or upset with. It is, you're full of shit, because a real lesbian sticks with women no matter what. Now, does that mean she don't eventually go back to men? No. Eventually she'll go back to a man. It might be 5 years later, it might be 10 years later. She'll go back to dating men again. I'm talking about the real lesbian. The fake lesbian, she dates men in secrecy, but she puts up a front and say, I'm lesbian. That's a nice way of women saying, I don't find you physically, sexually attractive. So if you're too short, or if you're fat, or you're not tall, dark, and handsome, or if you don't have money, looks, and status, or if you don't have a car, a motorcycle, or you're not like the guys you see in the movies or in the television shows, she's not talking to you 7 days a week, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. She's just going to ignore you because she don't find you attractive. Then you'll catch a lesbian trying to hit on a basketball player that looked like LeBron James. And you'll be like, wait a second, if you're lesbian, why are you flirting with LeBron James? Because it's LeBron James. And she think that if she can get LeBron James, then she'll stop being a lesbian. That's a fake lesbian. A real lesbian would be like, I don't care if you're LeBron James or Chris Hemsworth, I like women. That's a real lesbian. Fake lesbians use it as a cop-out for attention. If she at work, she'll do it for attention. She in college, I'm going to do it for attention. You know, she'll try to do anything she can for attention. Now, when the real lesbian decides she don't want to be a lesbian no more, a fight takes place. A confrontation starts. You'll get one good-looking woman and one ugly-looking woman, and then the two women will fight. And a lot of times when you see two black women or two white women or two Mexican women that are lesbian, usually they're not fighting over another lesbian woman in some cases. They're actually fighting over an alpha male. Only when they come into the presence of an alpha male, a high value man, money, looks, and status, that's between 5'10" to 6'8", tall, and is good looking with money and status, that's when these women start to, I don't want to be a lesbian no more. I found me an alpha male. That's when I'm going to cut your hair off. I'm going to set your hair on fire. Bitch, I'm going to kill you. You can't leave me. We supposed to be together forever. That's when they start stalking the girl at work, stalking the girl at school, beat up the girl, give her two black eyes, a broken jaw, break into her house and harass her. You know, follow her everywhere she go. Follow her to the gym. Follow her to her parents' house. Got to call the police on her. I'm trying to tell you what real women who are lesbians experience. Fake lesbians don't even experience confrontation. They don't even get in the fights. The real lesbians get in the fights. So you have some black women, some white women, and some lesbian women, Mexican women, who are real lesbians that were raped, sexually assaulted, or molested at a young age. It could have happened in high school. It could have took place in college, at home. It could have took place at church. It could have been a family member. It could have been their boyfriend, their husband, their ex-boyfriend, their ex-husband. Those are real lesbian victims. The fake lesbian victims go on YouTube and try to do it for views and subscribers to attract the attention of high-value males. It's like the equivalent to a woman who goes to the nightclub or the bar and they play a game called Who Can Dress the Sluttiest and the Skankiest to get the attention of Lil Wayne or Drake. Instead, they're doing it on YouTube to grab some high-value alpha male's attention. Only when they see an alpha male, that's what they do it for. Now, if they see a beta male, they're going to continue to keep putting up the front. Real lesbians get in the fights. Knives get pulled out, guns get pulled out, and there are some cases where somebody lose their life because this woman decided after 5 years or 7 or 10 years, decided she wanted to date men again. She wanted to give a man a chance again. And that other lesbian wasn't willing to make that sacrifice. So that's where the fight breaks out. Now, when they do fight over other women, it's usually where it's 10 years later and that woman have hit the wall and she can't even attract women no more. So real lesbians go through some shit. Fake lesbians, they're only doing it to get the attention of the high value alpha male. So whenever two lesbians fight, it ain't always another woman. It's a man got into the middle and they're fighting over the alpha male. The alpha male is turning her back to, you guys know your imagination. I'm trying to keep this PG here. So, yeah, this was a very interesting video to make. It'll be uploaded on both YouTube channels. Most of you will agree, and some of you will disagree. Some of you might even make comments to this video. Some of you might say, yeah, man, that actually happened to me at a nightclub or a bar. Or, yeah, I experienced that in high school and college. The reason why I threw the bisexual in the middle of it is because I'm trying to explain to you, if you go talk to a bisexual woman will be able to tell you right off the bat who's a real lesbian, who's a fake lesbian. You can even talk to a gay guy, and a gay guy will tell you who's a real lesbian, who's a fake lesbian. Any one of them two will tell you who's real and who's fake. This is how you find out. I mean, you can ask Lil Wayne and Drake. They've had sex with plenty of women that were quote unquote lesbian. Just ask Lil Wayne and Drake. They'll tell you who's real, who's fake. You can even go ask Ellen DeGenerate. That's a lesbian. She'll tell you who's real, who's fake. But this video was long overdue. Peace.